You're in Braves country.
Morning. How the hell are you? Doug, my man, how you doing, brother?
Oh, I'm hanging in there, thanks.
As long as you ain't hanging out, we'll be all right.
Yep.
Were you able to stay up to watch that whopper of a game one?
Yes, because my eyes were painted open right now.
Man, oh man alive, was that a game?
Yes, it was.
I mean, if anybody missed it, the short of it, it goes 10 innings, and Freddie Freeman hits a walk-off grand slam with 2 outs, and the Yankees leading by 1. So it changes on a dime like that. We were doing the game. There's a little confusion, but the short of it was Shohei Ohtani hit a foul ball into the stands. Verdugo fell into the stands. As we're gonna change our view real quick for everybody. He fell into the stands. We'll change it out here in a second. We'll put the screen back on. But he put it back into he falls into the stands because he throws the ball from the stands. They're awarded an extra base. When they award the extra base, the next thing that happens is they intentionally walk Mookie Betts, and then Freddie Freeman, who's already got a triple in the game, but he has been hobbling. First pitch, sitting dead red, Cousins lays one in there, grooves one in there, and boom goes the dynamite. And that's how the game ends 6-3. If you had the over, if you had the Yankees over, and if you had the run line, you might have fared well, like a certain someone that I know. If you did other things, you may not have. But that's where we're sitting at. Game 2 tonight. And if you're a Yankees fan, it's far from over. I know it's a gut punch, and when you wake up, you kind of have to take a sigh and then sit back and go, man, we were so close to a 1-0 lead. That's all right. You got a long way to go in this one. And momentum, I think, is going to change from inning to inning, game to game. What say you on the entire game, Doug?
That game, it had everything possibly won in a game. If you love the pitching duel early, had it. You wanted the last-minute heroics, it had it. I thought one player, I'll tell you what, the one memory I've had of game 1 is Tommy Edman just having a great game defensively.
Dude, he's doing some things, isn't he?
Yeah. And you gotta love that. I mean, just the enormous amount of health brought that. And I'm just sitting there going, Tommy Edmonds? But Tommy Edmonds has been doing it. He did it in the LCS as well, too. I really stepped up.
I mean, look, and here's something scary if you're not pulling for the Dodgers long term. He signed a 2-year deal in January of this past year. So he still has another year on his contract. And that's why at the trade deadline, I was furiously saying that was one of the guys that I wanted, because you can see that he can play short. He's not an elite shortstop defensively like Garcia, but damn it, I'll take that bat.
Yeah.
And they didn't make the move because little hamstrung when it comes to finances, unlike the Dodgers, who are going to buy World Series after World Series appearance.
True.
But nonetheless, they made the move, and Tommy Edman is better for it. I want to say how it breaks down is he makes $7 this year and then $9.5 next year. But regardless, he will be a Dodger next year unless they decide to move him. And after the fall he's had, I seriously doubt that happens.
Yeah, he's going to be there long term. He keeps this, definitely.
And I would tend to think that he's going to, knowing the Dodgers, they'll probably lock him up. He is, what is he right now? 29 years old. So he'll be 30 next year. It won't take much for them to lock him up long term, because really he's got a career WAR of 17.9, so it's pretty darn good. But it's not like it's going to take Shohei Ohtani money. It's not going to take Mookie Betts kind of money to lock up Tommy Edman. So I definitely believe that he is going to probably get an extension in the offseason after getting the NLCS MVP.
Mm-hmm. And the funniest thing is all season with from the Yankees' perspective too, and he's been doing it kind of like the same thing as Tommy Edmonds, not love, but Giancarlo Stanton had an enormous postseason. He couldn't have come at a better time for him to play like he's been playing.
Well, the thing about Stanton is his entire career. Good morning, Gary and Brian and Jameson in the chat. His entire career has been enormous in the postseason. I was floored, and I mean floored, by the numbers that I saw. So we'll go ahead and pull out of here real quick, change the view. But the numbers that I saw on him for the overall career for Stanton in the playoffs, he had a 17th home run last night. I think he's only played like 33 games.
Mm-hmm.
He's got RBI. His RBI total last time, I didn't see the total after he added the 2 last night, but he was darn near averaging 2 RBIs a game, 1 home run a game. I mean, this guy is the new Mr. October, but he hasn't gotten any love for it because they haven't won anything.
Yeah.
They just won the pennant. So I'm not trying to downplay that on any level, but they just won the pennant. And so with that being said, you're talking about a team that if they can get Judge going, that's the biggest problem. Aaron Judge, he's not hitting the ball. He got the single last night, but they need home runs from Judge. They need extra bases from Judge. If they're going to win the World Series, Aaron Judge has to show up and earn the money that they paid him.
Yes.
And they just aren't doing that right now. And that offense of the Yankees, it can grab big numbers in quick bunches, but overall it's been sporadic at best. And they're running into a buzzsaw of an offense. And I said this at the beginning of the series. I believe it really is strength against strength. It's going to be who can outlast two, that Dodger offense or the Yankees starting pitching. And last night it was the Dodger offense because the Yankees offense didn't put any runs on Jack Flaherty. He's been terrible in the postseason. He had a 7+ ERA going into last night.
You wouldn't have known that last night? Because I was sitting there smiling because I'm thinking to myself, is this the same Jack Flaherty that in the old day, just 2-3 years ago, you had to hold your nose out fantasy fantasy team for spots. I give him a lot of credit. He's not the same pitcher he was 2 or 3 years ago. So
no, but he's a Southern California guy, which I didn't realize that about him till recently. But he grew up in Burbank, which the only thing I've ever known about Burbank was that that's where Johnny Carson always said that that's where his show was televised out of for years and years. So I mean, where the hell's Burbank? The only reason why I knew Burbank is because of Johnny Carson. I don't even know if that's where they continue to film the Tonight Show. I don't think they do, because I think, I haven't watched that stuff in so long. I don't even know where the hell. I believe it's in New York now, but at the time of Johnny Carson, he lived in Los Angeles, and it was Burbank.
Yeah, because Burbank was NBC. Because you got Burbank and you got a lot of TV shows everybody's watched over the last, all been filmed out. So
right, but I'm pretty sure that they do it out of New York now.
Now they do. Yeah, NBC purchased was by whoever owns New York.
I don't know. Your audio is breaking up.
Okay.
But the short of it is, NBC's always had Johnny Carson, because I can remember I still watch the reruns at night. They always had the little peacock on the coming in and out. So that had nothing to do with it. Anyways, back to the rest of the story. Maybe something that you may know about. The Atlanta Braves have made a move, and they have gotten themselves, look, we'll see how this plays out, but they went and got themselves a new hitting coach, and the hitting coach that they go out and get, and you got to understand something about him. The Atlanta Braves at one point were trying to hire him in 2017, and they couldn't do it because of all that freaking mess that Coppola, the old GM, got him into. They weren't allowed to go out and make these signings. Well, they're finally able to bring, his name's Tim Hires, which is, of course, all the puns were flying around a couple of days ago. They hires, and he got hired, or Seitzer got fired, all that nonsense. But that only works well one time.
Yeah,
we'll never be able to make that joke in a good way. After that, it's going to be, yeah. Then you quit hiring people like Hires, and it'll be all the nasty stuff that the fans always talk about. But he comes over from the Texas Rangers, and the biggest thing that I got out of this, the biggest thing that I got out of the hiring for Tim Hires, is that they're selling the fact that, okay, he has won a world championship too, right? He won with the Texas Rangers in 2023. He's from the Atlanta, Georgia area. That's why he wanted to come back. It's not nothing to do with him not being happy as a Texas Ranger. He wanted to come home, and sometimes you can't put a price tag on that, right?
Sure.
But the difference in philosophy that I've already read about with him is that they're saying that he uses a holistic approach, meaning emphasis on situational hitting. And I think Braves fans are going to be excited about that. Whether or not we have the guys that can do anything about it is a different story. But in other words, we're not going to be sitting back there, or he's not going to be teaching swing for the fences when the game is on the line. You're down by one, you get a leadoff double. He's going to be teaching you to hit the bat over. I still don't think you're going to see a lot of bunting, because a lot of the guys in the Braves lineup aren't realistically bunters. But I do think that you're going to see things like leadoff double, nobody out, the batter at the plate, his job is to hit it to the right side of the infield or outfield to move that runner over to third so you can get him in with the fly ball. And I think that's the biggest thing that you're going to see.
No, I agree. I thought it was kind of interesting because both our teams are on parallel. As Franconi hired all our hitting, brought in another hitting coach too. That's similar hires. Because the biggest thing that didn't make sense for the Reds is, and that's kind of like a little side thing that
come in and out, man. You're a poverty. Wi-Fi is just killing us. I'm getting like every third word with you. Come in and come back. All right. I'll go ahead and tote the note as he tries to figure out the technical side of it. I guess I'll just have to help him here as Doug is frozen in time over here. So Tim Hires to me is going to come in with an attitude of it's not just all about what's on the back of your card, of your baseball card. It's about moving the end game is to put runs on the board for Tim Hires. He's got nothing to do with necessarily overall hitting, right? His number one thing is put runs on the board. And what we had before with the runs on the board was sitting back and waiting for home runs from Olsen, from Ozuna, from, you name it, Acuna when he's healthy. The short of it with Tim Hires is he's going to bring in a different approach of the emphasis on situational hitting. And with the fact that was a headline tells me that the general manager, Alex Anthopoulos, looked for that. I think he was tired of the guys standing out on third base with nobody out and nobody gets them home. And it's still going to happen because it happened to the Dodgers last night. It happened to the Yankees throughout the playoffs. It's still going to happen, but the volume of which it happens with the Braves is dumbfounding. This goes back to last year. This goes back to 2 years ago. You didn't see as much in 2021 because they got extremely hot. But when we were doing these games in 2022 and 2023, before 2024 ever showed up, I would consistently tell you this is a problem. They're constantly, and look, we were getting bailed out in 23 when they broke all the records. But what happened in the playoffs? If you don't have a real game plan to score, as opposed to Kevin Seitzer just let them rip. And he was there to kind of help them with their swing. But that's not, to me, what a hitting coach is. A hitting coach teaches you how to hit, when to hit, where to hit. And I'm hoping that they all gravitate to this and get excited for it going into the offseason. And hopefully he'll have time to work with these guys quite a bit in the spring and just kind of change their mindset. And that's going to be a dangerous offense. All these guys coming back, getting healthy, and a new approach. And like I said, at the end of the season, when we were talking about the rumors were already flying about Seitzer, sometimes you just need another voice in the room. And it's not that Seitzer isn't going to land somewhere and do a good job. I'm sure he will. But, man, I was sick and tired of watching an offense swing for the fences. Because this is baseball. This isn't slow pitch softball. All right, we got to step aside for a second. The guys are coming on. Doug, hopefully we got your audio figured out. And if not, I guess we'll figure it out when we come back. Doug, you there?
I'm right here.
All right, so far so good. The problem was, it was like every fifth word I was losing. And so you were losing. I kind of knew what you were talking about, but I felt like others didn't. We'll be back in the fly.
We are live in Tallahassee, the capital of the great state of Florida.
Hyperbole is done. Now we can finally play the game.
There's no law against scalping tickets in this part of the country, and premium prices have been paid.
It is the third Saturday in October, and the show is on one more time in Knoxville, Tennessee.
right, here we go. 56-yarder. It's got, no, does not have the leg. And Chris Davis takes it in the back of the end zone. He'll run it out to the 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 45. There goes Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn's going to win the football game.
They're still in deep trouble in midfield. They tackle him. The ball is still loose as they get it to Rogers. They give it back now to the 30. They're down to the 20. Oh, the band is out on the field. He's going to go into the end zone. He's going into the end zone. But the bands are out on the field. There were flags all over the place. The most amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending, exciting, thrilling finish in the history of college football. California.
In trouble in the backfield, wants to throw now, and he's going to go deep. And I mean deep, and I mean touchdown, Florida! Tyree Cleveland in a miracle finish. A Hail Mary that's full of grace for the Gators.
It's a 31-30 game, and what does Nebraska do?
I have not seen the kicker come on the field, and I don't think he's coming on the field. Tom Osborne made this decision a long time ago. He's decided to go for two and take his shot at winning. I commend him for it.
This is for the national championship for Nebraska.
Incomplete. Here come the Seminoles of Florida State. One of the great traditions in college football. And Chief Osceola ready to get it started. College football. A matchup from the state of Florida. Moody flush, throws it down. Caught by Boston College. I don't believe it.
Buck back, third down on the 8. In trouble. Got a block behind him. Gonna throw on a run, complete to the 25, to the 30. Lindsey's got 35, 40. Lindsey's got 45, 50, 45, 40. Run, Lindsey, 25, 20, 50, 10, 5. Lindsey stop. Lindsey stop. Lindsey stop. Well, I can't believe it. 92 yards, and Lindsey really got in a foot race. I broke my chair. I came right through a chair, a metal steel chair with about a 5-inch cushion. I broke it. The booth came apart. The stadium fell down. Now they do have to renovate this thing. They'll have to rebuild it now. I didn't mean to beg Lindsey to run, but I had to. You know, this game has always been called the world's greatest cocktail party. Do you know what is going to happen here tonight and up at St. Simon's and Jekyll Island and all those places? Man, is there going to be some property destroyed tonight.
All right, gentlemen. How the hell are you? It's been a while.
Yes, it has.
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be back.
We didn't do a show last week. Bobby had his thing going on, and then I realized it was going to be literally impossible for me to do the show and be at a wedding almost simultaneously. I didn't realize how early the wedding was, so we decided to punt the show. So we do apologize for folks who might have been looking for it last week. But I don't think I have anything left on my schedule the rest of the way. So I think we're good to go. Steven, are you ready for your world to come crashing down in the Florida State Seminoles?
Man, if that happens, fire Cristobal.
I can't get that out with a straight face.
No, for real though. If that happens, Cristobal needs to just he should not make it to his house as the coach of the Hurricanes.
Oh, if it's that kind of implosion with the fan base, I'm here for it, but I don't think it's going to happen. If it was in Hassey, I'd give them a puncher's chance of maybe a turnover here, something to keep them in the game. But honestly, man, you're a 3-touchdown favorite at home. I think they put the game away early, and I think they put the game away often. Maybe we see that Florida State possibly covering the spread, but I really think it would be a backdoor cover. I'll be shocked if it is a ball game in the fourth quarter. And I mean like two scores. Because if you're within 2 scores in the fourth quarter in college football, in theory, it's a ball game. I don't think it will be.
I mean, I was going to say that just given how bad the Hurricanes defense has been, but I just don't see your offense being able to do it.
No, it's been a little better. The problem that they have, I mean, it's such an absolute ridiculousness. It's a comedy of errors, because when the quarterback's not playing well, like we have at DJU, everyone's griping. Then all of a sudden you get these two youngsters who, I don't know, we'll see what happens this week. I'm in favor going forward of a true platoon. I want to see kind of like what Spurrier did in the early 90s and what Bowden did in the late 70s and early 80s, where you literally have a quarterback run a series, take your ass to the bench. The next guy run a series, take your ass to the bench. Because when you're this young and this raw, A, you need to earn it, but B, those series where you're on the bench, you're learning more than you've ever learned before, because you know what you just saw. You're listening to the coaches talk. You're also getting coached yourself by your quarterback coach. And as you're watching the game unfold, you're getting another break. All right, so when I get the ball, I need to, okay, I didn't realize that, da-da-da-da-da. I don't like this idea of just playing the hot hand. Screw that, because I'll tell you what, you got Luke and Brock, and Brock is the kid that was there last year, because I'm trying to dumb it down for fans who are not familiar with their last names and, you know, where they came from. Brock was there last year. Luke came in this year. Luke is a fairly highly touted young quarterback, but he was at the prom back in April. Luke threw some beautiful passes. He dropped one down 55 yards. You couldn't have dropped it better, into a bucket, and it hit our receiver Potier right in the hands. He had about a yard distance between him and defensive back. It's a catch you've got to make at Duke. You got to make it. And he literally grabs it and slams it into his chest, and it bounces off. And immediately everyone started raising hell at the kid. And all I got from that is Ron Dugans has got to go. The wide receiver coach of Florida State, he's got to be fired, because we get this time and time and time again. The receivers at Florida State, their fundamentals suck. And that's why balls are smacking them in the hands and falling out. So we don't talk about Florida State all damn day, but that's obviously the game that Steven and I are paying attention to the most. But I'm literally going to have that thing muted and keeping an eye on other things. I don't have a lot of faith in this team this year. I just want to see growth from the two quarterbacks in this game. And I don't even care if we win another game this year. I want to see growth from the quarterbacks getting ready for 2024, because we're not going to a bowl game. So who gives a damn? Let's get ready for 2025, I should say. And there you go. Steven, outside the Miami game, what's the game that you're looking forward to the most?
I mean, I'm kind of going old school college football here. Like, none of the, big ranked teams, none of the, craziness. Tulane versus North Texas. The total there is 67. They should be a lot of points scored. Both teams are 5-2. Both fairly impressive teams. I mean, they have are both completely different identities on offense. Tulane likes to run the ball. North Texas likes to pass. This should just be a good old fashioned college football game.
Now, I forgot to hit this clip, and I'll hit it right now. All right, the cool games. So is that your cool game of the day?
Yep, that is a noon kickoff.
Okay, that's an interesting one to go with. But previous cool games, and Bobby knows this because he used to do the Friday cool game thing. I used to push back. I don't push back on these anymore. You call it a cool game, I'll go with you. I don't know if I would call it a cool game, but hey, it may have something to do with where Steven's money is laying today. Bobby, what is your cool game of the day?
My cool game is in the world of the NFL, and it's contingent on one man playing. If Jaden Daniels is a go on Sunday, then I am really excited for Bears Commanders. the rookie quarterback matchup between Caleb and Jaden Daniels. Daniels has been incredible this year. Caleb, he's starting to hit his groove. If both guys are going in that game, that should be really fun to watch, and I will be glued to that game. If Jaden Daniels isn't going, still an interesting game, but I won't be as excited about it. And down in College Station, there is a great college football game this weekend as well between LSU and Texas A&M.
Doug, what is your cool game of the day?
My cool game is Notre Dame. Navy's a lot better football team than people are. 6-0, and Notre Dame should actually be worried. So,
yeah, well, that's obviously my cool game of the day because we're doing the game at noon, high noon kickoff here on Braves Country Radio. Notre Dame Navy. I'm excited about it. I think Notre Dame is probably going to pull it out, but I think Navy, well, the biggest thing that they can show the American people is that it's not the Navy you've seen before. I've already done one of their games. I've watched a few of them. It's not the same Navy offense. I think people are expecting to see the triple wishbone and the ball getting thrown maybe twice in the game. They still run off the option, but they will throw the ball a little more. Now, I will say this. If the Navy quarterback had been a little more consistent in the game that I did with Navy Air Force last month, Navy blows him out early and often. Yeah. But he's a little sketchy, and so I'm just going to throw that out there. If you're thinking about doing crazy things like money line or whatnot with Navy, it's probably going to be very, very difficult to get that to punch through because you're going to be out of your mind. Go, how did he miss that? It's like, because the kid is not an NIL transfer. That's how he missed it, right? So just keep that in mind if you're in the betting market. Going into that, let's go ahead and hit our college football. We do a 6-pack every Saturday for those of y'all who may not have caught us before. This is our college football 3 here on October. It's hard to believe we're almost in Halloween. I want to see if this does something. Damn it. My dog normally goes boo bats when that thing goes off, and she's sitting on the other side of the couch. But I don't think she can see it, and that's what she is not a fan of that thing that I picked up. It's probably the best $12 I've spent at I think I was at Target it was Walmart in the past several years. Because every once in a while she's acting foolish, you just press that sucker and she goes, wife gets pissed off. Our second dog starts freaking out. Anyways, Halloween right around the corner here. We're going to hit our college football picks. Put the numbers up on the screen. If I'm sure a lot of y'all do not remember. There we go. Bobby hit his stupid underdog. Man, I was close, Bobby.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right there.
Something happened where same thing that always happens when Tennessee and Florida play. Florida choked, right? Isn't that how it always works? That Tennessee is always one that prevails.
Yep. No. Well, not. It's kind of the script has been flipped. I mean, we usually have luck on our side, but with the fumble at the half-yard line.
I'll be honest with you. When it got late in the game and it was tied 17-17, I was like, Florida's going to win this.
Yeah,
they always
as bad as we played too. As bad as we played too, it would have just made sense for us to win. But logic prevailed, I guess, in this one. Tennessee
the thing
got the
that's
win.
Totally illogical is that same Tennessee team turns around and beats Alabama.
I know, and that's what doesn't make sense.
And they look terrible in the first half as well offensively.
Yeah, Nico, I'm seeing some glaring red flags with him. He can't throw the ball deep. His accuracy deep is atrocious. That was on display against Florida. Their offense as a whole was just terrible. Florida was getting to him nonstop. Sampson, he's good, but he was pretty mediocre against Florida. So I'm shocked that they went out there and handled Bama like they did.
Yeah, I was too. And I really look when it comes to that Bama game, I'm basically just giving some Bama fans that watch the show and listen to the show a hard time.
Just remind them.
It's the whole reason why I got the Tennessee hat on and the Florida State jersey. But that game showed a couple things. A, Bama's not elite this year, and I think we already kind of knew that. But the other thing is, Bama really spit the bit. That first half, they had a chance to realistically put that game away, and they let them hang around. And when you let a team hang around at home in that atmosphere, usually bad things happen.
Absolutely.
All right, college football 3. Our 3 picks for college football. We do a 6-pack every week, 3 from college, 3 from the NFL. Steven, what is your first pick? What you got?
First pick, I'm going to the Texas Vanderbilt game. I'm not confident that Texas will cover the spread, but I'm also I don't have a good feeling either way. I just know there's gonna be a lot of points scored. I mean, Texas is gonna be pissed after getting dominated by Georgia last week, and I mean, there's not many better teams to take that aggression out on than Vanderbilt. 51.5 is the total. I love the over there.
All right, so Texas Vandy over 51.5. And Bobby, are you putting it in the chat?
Yeah, I'm typing it out.
You're the man. So any of y'all that are missing this, it is also going into the Facebook chat. What I'm going to try to do today is I'm going to try to run this as I'm going to put it on the screen as we go along, but I got to get that one into studio here in 1 second. But anyways, Doug, what is your pick?
My first pick is the LSU Texas. I got LSU winning the game. The spread isn't much; it's practically a pick 'em. But I just don't understand why people think that Texas A&M's defense is going to be that good against LSU's offense. Texas A&M's defense is great against the run, lousy against the pass, and you've got Garrett Nussmeier. If he doesn't get any pressure on him, and with that receiving core, I think he can start that Texas A&M defense, and I think LSU will end up dominating this game.
All right, so you got what was the pick you had? Because your audio is janky, man. What is going on?
And
are you taking LSU -1?
Yeah.
All right. Steven, what you got?
Second pick, I'm going to.
Oh no, I'm sorry, Bobby.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry, are we getting Stevens out of the way early? All right. My first pick. I'm going Illinois plus 22.5 versus Oregon. I feel like this spread's pretty disrespectful towards Illinois. They've been competitive. They've been a solid team. They've only lost one game this year, and it was to Penn State. Other than that, they beat a ranked Kansas team at the time. They beat Nebraska, who is ranked. They beat Michigan just last week, 21-7. They shut them down. I think at the very least, Illinois should be able to keep this game within 3 touchdowns, I'd say. Michigan State was able to do it. I don't see why Illinois can't do it. I think Oregon also could be smelling themselves a little bit after getting their first #1 ranking since 2012. It's been 12 years. So yeah, I think Illinois has a good chance to keep this game at least within 3 touchdowns. So I'm taking them here.
Yeah, that is a wild spread.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, if you're throwing a dart, I mean, that's a wild spread. We'll see. I guess I got it. Now, look, I hit last week. I know we didn't do a show, but I actually took Illinois on the money line against Michigan.
Yeah.
I think Illinois is a little better than people. Basically, it's going to be a contrast of styles. Oregon's going to want to push the ball. Illinois is going to want a real slobber knocker. They're going to want a lower scoring game. Over unders 54.5. It's going to be if you believe that Illinois is going to keep this game close, you might have to be in favor of taking the under as well.
Yeah.
My first pick, I'm going to go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off. Give me first of all, has it changed? Noon kickoff. It's still 13.5. Give me Navy plus 13.5. I do think that they can keep this fairly close, and 13.5 is a lot to give up when you're on the road in that atmosphere. And Notre Dame tends to start off slow. I think they probably wear them down in the end, but give me Navy plus 13.5. We got a lot of big spreads this weekend. Yeah. Steven, what you got on your second game?
Second game, I'm going Arkansas, Mississippi State. Mississippi State is just a flat out terrible team, and they are currently I think it's 6.5 point underdog to Arkansas, and I don't see a reason how Arkansas doesn't cover here.
So Arkansas minus 6.5.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, that's a head scratcher. What is the deal with these 12:45 kickoffs on SEC Network that's been going on a lot recently?
Yeah.
I can't figure that one out.
I was looking at some bizarre stops to start time.
I've noticed that the past 3 weeks, 12:45 SEC Network. I don't know what the hell they put on for 45 minutes getting ready for the kickoff, but it's really, really strange start.
Hopefully not a 45-minute breakdown of that game.
Especially if Tim Tebow's talking. Good Lord. Woo! Never too early to put a zinger on him. Doug, what's your second pick?
I hope you can hear me, but my pick is Missouri and Alabama. Missouri and Alabama both have,
we lose your audio, son.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes, what's your pick?
Take Missouri plus 14.
Missouri plus 14. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Missouri's actually getting 15.5.
Oh, 15 now. I'm sorry. It was 14.
Your audio is so bad that your point spread's off.
Be confident, Doug. Stick with the 14.
Exactly.
So you're taking Missouri plus 15.5, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I like it. I think there's a chance that Missouri. Look, I don't know how good Alabama is this year. That's really what it comes down to. I really don't know how good they are because they've lost 2 games already. And by the way, did you think about this? The Tennessee Vanderbilt game is going to be huge this year. You're not only playing for the state championship at Tennessee, but you also get the state championship flag of Alabama this year. So Vanderbilt, Tennessee is huge this year.
That's true.
I'm sure there's all kinds of t-shirts being put up that, out the college football championship for Alabama runs through the state of Tennessee, that kind of stuff. Man, I'm at work the other day, Monday, and this Alabama fan that I know is going to comes in every damn weekend. Normally, I just have it's an old Jacksonville Jumbo shrimp hat. That's what I wear almost every single day. But this day, I made sure that I had have this hat with me. As soon as I saw him walking through the door, man, I slapped that thing on, and I started singing Rocky Top. He goes, "You son of a," because you're a Florida State fan. Said, "Not this week, baby. This week, baby. Come on, let's go." And he didn't even know that I knew the whole, we don't, I won't sing it for y'all now because I won't put y'all through that, but the whole, we don't give a damn about the whole state of Alabama because we're from Tennessee. I sang that one for too as he was leaving. He might have given me a finger or two as he was walking out the door. All right, where are we at? Who's got the next pick? Is it?
I believe I'm back up.
Yep, it's Bobby.
Back to me. All right, my next
Bobby, what
pick.
you got?
I'm going with the team that's another big underdog here. I'm going with Vanderbilt plus 17.5 versus Texas. Vanderbilt has played to the level of just about every opponent they've played this year, aside of Alcorn State. They beat them 55-0. Every other game has been within nearly a possession. They've been very competitive in just about every game. It's pretty bizarre. I think this trend will continue. They're at home today against Texas. And they've been a solid team. They're riding on a 3-game win streak. I think at the very least they should be able to cover. I'm not predicting them to go out there and get a win, but I've also had a lot of luck betting on Vandy this year too. So I'm going with them here plus 17.5 against Texas.
All right. So I gave you the Vanderbilt game. The next one I'm going with is BYU getting, is it still 2.5? BYU. Let me flip over to the other screen so I can see it. BYU, this is a 3:30 kickoff on ESPN. Yes, they're still getting 2.5 at UCF. They're 7-0. They're still getting disrespected. They are an underdog at 3-4 UCF. Give me BYU. I'll take the 2 in the hook. I know a lot of folks would want the 3, and I guess maybe that's why that spread is hung under there. But the Sharps have been banging the BYU plus 2.5 all week long. So I think they're keeping it there because they want you to either go BYU money line so you get less money back, or UCF money line or UCF minus 2.5. I still think there's a belief that BYU is not a good football team. I've watched 4 of their games. They are a very good football team. So I know they play much better at home, but it's not like UCF is some daunting. You're not exactly walking into Death Valley when you walk into Orlando. I mean, come on. Steven, what's your third pick?
Third pick, I got like a big Hurricanes game this week. I gotta, have some skin in it. I'm gonna go Miami first half, minus 11.5. They have been a super strong team in like just the beginning of games. They come out firing. And I mean, it's gonna be at home. We all know FSU's offense is not, or defense is not very good.
Easy.
I expect them to just pour they're gonna pour the points on in the first half. 11.5 feels way too short.
So minus 11.5 first half points. All right. And Doug, what you got?
I got Wisconsin. I got I'm taking the under, the over-under 1.5.
The under, so I'll clean that up for y'all. The under is under 47.5, Penn State, Wisconsin. And that game is a 7:30 game on Peacock, NBC, however you want to watch it. It's an interesting one. It's not one of my picks this week on here, but I'm actually looking at the under in the first half as well. So I feel like these two offenses come out kind of slow, kind of almost like a boxing match where they're going to feel each other out. And I'm telling you, man, if you're looking for something, you're looking for some juice tonight. I know it's not the ideal where you're like, oh, I'd rather have the touchdown. Wisconsin getting 6.5 is a big spread in Camp Randall on a night game, in a game that I think is going to come down to a field goal. Bobby, what's your pick?
My last pick, I got Auburn and Kentucky under 43.5 total points. These are two teams that have both struggled in SEC play this year. Both teams have struggled at times to get their offense going. Kentucky, in general, this season at home, their offense has been pretty stout. On the road, not as much, but at home, they've had a pretty stout defense. Both teams also, like I said, have struggled to get their offense going against SEC opponents. And yeah, I'm betting on this being a slow, sometimes sloppy at point game. I think Kentucky's defense is going to shut down Auburn, and it'll be a very low scoring game. So I'm taking the under 43.5.
All right. So you're taking Auburn, Kentucky under 43.5. And I guess that comes to me, and let me see. I have been on the top 25, but I got to get off the top 25 because these two teams ain't ranked. No matter what the alumni may tell you. Okay, sweet. It went down a half point. I'm going to take the Michigan Wolverines -4. They're at home against Michigan State. It's hard to believe these two teams are 4-3, 4-3, and 2-2, both in the Big Ten. But here's the biggest number that jumped out at me with this one. First of all, Michigan's at home. Second of all, and this is the biggest one, the summer line on this one. And obviously people thought Michigan was much better than what they are. But it was 21.5 was the line on this all summer long. So you're trying to tell me 2 months later there's a 17-point difference? I'm not buying it. Give me Michigan -4. All right. Steven, the fantasy football 2-minute warning. What have you got going on today as we hit this?
Fantasy football time. Fantasy football time.
What you got?
It is going to be a weird Sunday. I mean, like we had I feel like a lot of big names off the board on Thursday night. We have I mean, like this week, I'm looking to target stacks in games from Cincinnati and Philly. I mean, both of those defenses can't stop a drop of water. And I mean, I like that. Like between Saquon, AJ Brown, Jamar Chase, there is just firepower for days. Saquon and Chase are going to be the popular plays there. I love the upside of AJ Brown coming in a little bit under-owned. Another game I'm going to be targeting is Miami and Arizona. Tua should be back. Miami's offense should be at full speed, and I mean, I like that. Like there shouldn't be any reason to discount the potential they have at the cheapest price you're going to see all season on them. Tyreek Hill is shaping up to be one of the most popular plays at receiver this weekend, but I don't care. I'm probably going to be all in on him. Another play I love from that game. Two plays. The running backs from both teams, Devon Achane and James Conner, both at decent price. Going to be a little bit under-owned and very good matchups for both of them. And the other main game I'm looking to target is the Atlanta Tampa Bay. We did see the loss of Chris Godwin and Mike Evans for Tampa, but they still have a very good running back core. They have some talented receiver. K. Dotton's a very good tight end. I'll have a lot of him this weekend. And then you still have the offensive firepower of Atlanta with Drake London, Darnell Mooney, Bijan, Kyle Pitts. I mean, there should be points galore there.
Anyone got anything to add before we go to the six-pack or the finish off our six-pack?
I like those picks.
Yeah, sounds good.
And I'll tell you what, that was a brutal blow for Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Y'all know I'm pulling for Atlanta, but that was a brutal blow. I mean, lose both of those guys in the same game, and one's for the season. The other one's not coming back to week 11 or 12, somewhere in that neighborhood.
And I mean, especially for Evans, that kills his streak of 1,000 yards in every season in his career.
Yeah, unless you never know. He comes back. He might be getting yards a game, because they're not going to have a lot of options. But in all intents and purposes,
he was limping around for quite a bit before he got hurt. So
he was nursing a hamstring going in. I got him on at least one, I think two of our leagues. Yeah. And so I was paying attention to that. And when I saw him pull, honestly, it's better than what I thought. When I saw him grabbing his leg in the back of the end zone, I was thinking that was going to be a tear.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, he's done. And then I wake up the next morning. I had to be up so early. I normally have to get up at 4:30 on Tuesday. So I don't really stay up for the Monday night games typically. I typically watch the replays. I'm getting ready.
Yeah.
But I heard the news already. I'm like, what the hell? What happened to Godwin? And then come to find out, people were making a bigger deal of, we shouldn't have been in the game. Stop it, okay? You don't have – this isn't college football, you meatheads. You don't have 108 people on your roster. You can't just put all your backups in, okay? That's not how it works. And if you had him sitting on the bench, it'd be like, what the hell, man? You still had a chance. So just shut up.
But you could also not target him for a 5-yard slant down 10 points with 40 seconds left.
What's that?
Like you could also just not target him down 10 points with 40 seconds left.
But you still got a chance to win the game.
Not at that point. I mean, it was over.
What kind of loser mentality is that? I mean, 10 points? It's not 110 points. It's not
with 40 seconds.
It's a touchdown and an onside kick. We've seen it before.
It's a long shot, but
I get very much a long shot. It's a game. I mean, what is your answer? Tuck your tail and run? You might get hurt. Bury your head. I mean, that's not, you're watching the wrong sport if that's the mentality, is my point.
You lost your number one receiver, just try to save your other one. Make sure he doesn't get hurt.
It's still a loser mentality. It's a loser mentality because all you're doing is saying, there's no point in trying half-ass. You either go in whole ass or no ass at all.
I'm gonna have a lot more loser mentalities for the next few weeks.
And once again, you don't have as deep of a roster as people think with the NFL.
That I'll agree with you.
You don't have 9, 10, 11, 12 receivers like you do in college football when you're watching someone drag Southern Charleston up and down the field. Go, well, why can't you do that? Because you don't understand the complexities of the NFL roster. Most teams have about 4 or 5, maybe 6, and that 6th guy is usually not even really a receiver. So when the injuries start mounting, like Evans, you don't have a lot of options out there.
Mm.
And I'm not jumping down your throat, Steven, on your take. I'm just saying that people think that you can just all of a sudden put your backups in. That's not how it works. It's just like down the stretch with Major League Baseball when people were saying, well, you're going to be going up against their backups. It's not that deep of a roster. You're not just going to all of a sudden bring up some guy you don't know the name of, because there's a reason why those rosters are set like that in the National Football League, is because guys like Godwin want to be in there to get their numbers so they can get their next paycheck, right?
Yeah.
So it's more than just that game. It's the receiver who's going to be pissed off. It's a violent game. You're going to have injuries. It's brutal when it falls like that. And I don't know. That's just my take on it, is that you're not as deep as you think you are. And you can't just go, well, you can put your backup safety in there to play receiver. No, this isn't backyard football. Okay.
I think it would be more frustrating if it was the team that was up that lost their player, like the Lions with Aiden Hutchinson, that type of situation.
Well, yeah, if the Lions were freaking throwing the ball down the field up 10, I'd say, yeah, what the hell?
Yeah.
But you're still trying to win the game.
Like when you're down 2 possessions with that much, and I know it's not a lot of time left, but that I'm more acceptable with the idea of them having the starters in, versus if you're up in that situation, you should probably be.
Because all you have to do is get in field goal range, bang the field goal in, get the onside kick, and you've got a chance for a Hail Mary. And we've seen it before. It's not like we've never seen a Hail Mary work. I mean, Miami Hurricanes know that. So I'm on. What are we talking about? What if Doug Flutie would have said, you know what? I don't want to get hurt. I want to get hurt. What if was it Danny White, Doug? Or is that that was Staubach, right? In the original Hail Mary?
Yes, Staubach.
I don't want to get hurt. Who the hell was it that caught that? Was that Drew Pearson?
Yes.
Okay. Well, they said, no. You got to put Drew Pearson down because, we don't want him getting injured. I mean, that's just one of those things. Now, I think Florida State should bench everybody tonight so nobody gets killed. That's something different. All right, where are we at, Steven? What's your first pick?
First pick. I'm going to go. I hate myself for doing it, but Bengals minus a half point in the first quarter. The Eagles have not scored a point in the first quarter all season, and I don't see it continuing. They've been historically slow starters under like Sirianni. Like we know that Bengals can put up points in a hurry. And I mean, just like for even them to get a field goal would do that pretty quick.
Yeah, that's a really tempting one.
And on ESPN, it's plus 115.
The only reason why I'm staying away from it is because they're eventually going to score, right?
Yeah. Oh, I know.
I don't think anybody can go in and well, maybe they could, but you wouldn't think that the Eagles with that many offensive explosions could go an entire season. But who the hell knows? Stranger things have happened. But I know what will happen if I lay that money down on that one. The first play from scrimmage is going to be an 85-yard bomb to A.J. Brown. I'm like, oh, my God. Now they got to go for 2. Who the hell is going to go for 2 down 7-6 in the first quarter? Where are we at? Doug, what you got?
I got I'm taking the Packers -4 against the Jags. The Jags just got back from their European tour. I just think they're Jags, and I think the Packers will catch them.
I'm really surprised Doug Peterson hasn't been given his walking papers yet. Bobby, what you got?
My first one, I'm going with the Cardinals +4 versus the Dolphins. I'm sorry, Trosch. Not saying we're going to win, but you guys have a pretty poor run defense, and James Conner has been the identity of this team, not just the offense. I mean, it's literally James Conner's our only hope. The passing game is terrible. The offensive line is pretty atrocious. James Conner's the only one giving us a chance in these games, and I think he's going to have a good game against the Dolphins, especially one of their defensive tackles just got hurt in practice, I believe. So Yeah, I think he's going to have a big game. And the Cardinals, they do a solid job at limiting big plays. They haven't been beaten over the top a whole lot this season, and I think they're going to try and get the ball out of Tua's hands quick, especially in his first game back since his concussion. I don't think he's going to be holding onto the ball for too long and risk getting blown up. So I don't think we'll be getting beat over the top with a bunch of huge plays, and I think James Conner is going to give us a chance on offense. So I'll take us +4.
Brian is still so traumatized by the Flutie play. He commented Flutie, F, and then Flutie. Flutie. I know what you meant, Brian. My first pick, sorry, Doug, I'm jinxing you. Give me the Raiders +9.5. That seems like an incredibly high pick. An incredibly high pick, a high spread for a team that somehow, some way always gives the Chiefs hell, especially when you don't expect them to. If the Raiders were favored, I wouldn't touch the damn thing. But the Chiefs 6-0, Raiders getting 9.5. They're at home. This smells like Pick Six City. Give me the Raiders +9.
The Chiefs haven't been too high flying on offense either. They could put up a stinker and make it close.
Yes, for the Raiders.
Was that last year that on Christmas?
Yes.
Yeah. Where the Raiders, I want to say they went into Kansas City and did that, didn't they?
Yes, they were in Kansas City.
Yeah. And it was just Stink City. And I think I had like a parlay where I was like, Kansas City just needs to win, money line, and then da-da-da-da-da. That thing was knocked out the box before the game ever got to halftime. Steven, what's your second pick?
I'm going to Monday night here. Pittsburgh -6.
Dun, 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 dun.
I mean, just Daniel Jones in prime time. He is just one of the worst quarterbacks you could ever imagine in prime time. He's 1-15 straight up, and then 6-10 against the spread night, like at night in his career. Anyway, Pittsburgh has just looked like a machine this season. Russell Wilson really showed why he was named the starter last week. They opened that offense up just to so many degrees that past what they did with Fields. Their defense is gonna just harass Jones or even Drew Lock at some point when Jones just probably dies on the field out there. But no, it's I see Pittsburgh just running over this game.
I'm gonna speed this up by letting you know that was my second pick, Pittsburgh -6. So I'm gonna piggyback that with it. Doug, what's your pick?
I got the 49ers Cowboys. Take the 49ers and the -4.5.
That's
49ers too physical.
That's an interesting one. A, the injuries to the 49ers. B, Cowboys, for whatever reason, play better on the road. I guess even they hate Cowboy fans. And they've played some pretty tough games. I'm almost too scared to grab it, though it makes a lot of sense, Doug. I don't know, man. The Niners losing Ayuk. I bet the Niners, someone's in the general manager's office of the 49ers going, I told you we shouldn't have given that guy that damn money. What the hell, man? Oh, mercy. Bobby, what's your second pick?
I'm going with the same as Doug's first pick. I'm going with Packers -4 versus the Jaguars. I know Jordan Love has turned over the ball quite a bit this season, but the Jags have only forced 2 turnovers on the defensive side of the ball, and they are just in dismay. I think the Packers are going to run through them. They're a much better team, so I'm going to take Packers -4.
You're screwing my fantasy team because I really need Jordan Love to do good things. Y'all both just doubling down on that. It's going to be like a 10-7 game.
Maybe the bad luck cancel each other out.
Steven, what's your next pick?
I took a pick in the Hurricanes game. I'm going to the Dolphins game as well. I'm going James Conner over 10.5 receiving yards. I like the receivers for Arizona really haven't stepped up that much this season, and so quietly the Dolphins have been a fairly solid team, especially in the secondary. They really struggle against receiving backs, and Conner has received a lot. I think 12 targets in the last 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah. So 10.5 should be a pretty easy hit for him.
When that pocket collapses, Kyler loves to dump it off to James Conner sitting right there at the line of scrimmage.
Gaston specifically is screwing my fantasy team. He specifically went after James Conner. All right, Doug, what you got?
My third game, I've got the Detroit just dominating the Titans. Detroit, I just think especially offensively, one of the best teams in football. Fred takes, I think, 11.5 points. Take the 11.5 points. I think we're going to score early enough.
I'm showing 11 right now, so we'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
Yep.
Now, for you Titans fans who might be tuning in, I know there's a few out there. If you're worried about that, just look at Doug's numbers right here. 11 and 23. So you're telling me there's a chance.
I like his pick so far. I think he's going to rein it in.
Trading D-Hop is the sign they have literally given up. I knew that there were Titan fans that were trying to give pushback about you shouldn't be trading. What the hell are you keeping them for? So you'll eke out a win you didn't want, so your draft pick goes up down a little bit. Man, if someone will take that terrible contract of Calvin Ridley, get rid of that SOB too. Yeah. That's a disaster of a contract.
Disaster of a summer for the Titans, signing all those players.
I called it when it happened. I told everybody.
Not how you build a team.
Down in Jacksonville, I watched him when he was in Atlanta. He is an absolute NFL bust, but because of all his metrics, people want to give him the money. But he's not a number one receiver, and people pay him like he's a number one receiver.
Yep.
He's a number three.
That mistake.
He's a number 3 with upside that could be a number 2. But he needs to be in a much better offense. Where are we at? Bobby.
My last one, I'm going with Panthers Broncos under 41.5 total points. Bryce Young is back at quarterback this week for the Panthers. And the Broncos, they've been on a little bit of a hot streak with in terms of how much points they've put up in the last 2 of the last 3 weeks. I don't think it's going to continue this week, though. And even if they do score a lot, I don't see the Panthers scoring a lot. I don't think Bryce Young's going to put too many points on the board. So I'm pretty comfortably taking the under.
You don't see a shootout between Bo Nix and the Red Rocket?
42-35. I'm going with the Broncos winning by like 10 points. It'll be like a 14-3 win or something stupid like that.
Will there be a Javonte Williams sighting?
I'm going to say no. I don't know. Maybe. I'm not thinking player props.
That was just 2 seasons ago where people were telling you to draft him high in dynasty drafts.
Yeah. That injury seemed to take quite the toll on him. The ACL and MCL, I think. Same injury Ayuk has.
Well, that's pleasant. I think I have him in my dynasty league.
Sorry to bear bad news.
The last pick, I'm going with the idea that Jaden Daniels will start. Right now, the over-under in that game, Bears-Washington, is 43.5. I'm taking the over. I think even if he doesn't play, I think Mariota can get enough points up there for me to get past the 43.5. I think that's kind of a low score considering these defenses haven't exactly been locked down the last several weeks, and the offenses should put up enough points. I mean, we're talking about like a 24-21 game get you the win.
Yeah.
So there we have that. All right, we got to speed this up a little bit. So let's go ahead and dive into the stupid underdog.
There's no need to fear.
Stupid
Underdog is here.
Stupid
Underdog.
Stupid
Underdog.
All right, see right there on the screen, underdogs, Big E stupid underdog picks. Bobby leads by a lot, 21. Doug, 0.5. He's on the plus side. Steven, -8, and I'm at plus 7.5. So, Steven, you get the first pick. So, where are you going? Where are you throwing your dart?
I have to be consistent with, like I mentioned, my cool game of the week was Tulane, North Texas. I'm going to go North Texas here. They're laying 8 points right now. I think Tulane's been overrated by the market the whole season, and I love the battle of the green here, the mean green versus the green wave.
I definitely think it's going to be a close game. I don't understand that spread. I really don't. I've watched quite a few Tulane games. Don't ask me why. I just have. They've come on, and they're always one of the ones that I focus on. Their offense will move the ball, but their defense is a sieve. So anytime you got that, all you need is a couple turnovers, Steven, and you may get that.
They're an air raid offense, so
right. So I think now they're much more susceptible to giving up the run, but that doesn't matter. When you have a defense that's that bad, it's going to give up points. The next pick, it would be Doug's turn. Doug, what's your stupid underdog?
Stupid underdog is Navy to beat Notre Dame this.
Ah, you bastard! You took it.
All right.
I had to. It was there. I couldn't help it.
So Doug is off of the Notre Dame bandwagon. He understands that they are a fraud, and he's taking the midshipmen.
Why did you have to play?
We'll have that game right here. Noon kickoff, the high noon kickoff here on Braves Country Radio. So I've got a couple. Sit down. Let me look and see what the actual spread is right now, because I did not think anyone was taking that game, so I was kind of leaning on that one. Let me see. I got to start swinging for the fences. I can't play conservative on this. And I'll tell you what, something else is jumping out at me. The spread has gone down, by the way. Indiana -5.5. I wish I would have seen that earlier. That's going down a full point. Indiana's going to drag Washington. Just putting that out there. So if you're looking for something to pick later, that is a good pick for I mean, how do they not beat them by 2 touchdowns? All right, give me, man, I'm on the ropes here. I feel like I've got to take the home team. I'll tell you who my second team is after Bobby makes his pick. I'm going to take Vanderbilt plus 17.5 to shock the world. I think if nothing else, Vanderbilt will cover the spread. Yeah. Earlier in the week when I first jotted down, it was 18.5. Some books had it 19. Some books had it 19, but I'm going to take Vanderbilt plus 17.5, and we'll see what we can do there. Bobby, what you got?
Mine is my first college football pick of the 6 packs. I'm gonna go
Florida State plus 20. Wait, what?
Not a chance. I'm going with Illinois plus 22.5. I'm staying. I wouldn't touch Florida State with the 10-foot pole this season, but Illinois plus 22.5. That is my stupid underdog pick. It's a long shot, of course, but I'm thinking if this somehow hits, then I'm in a good spot. I'm in a very good spot.
Oh, you're in a really good spot then.
Yeah. But Illinois, like I said earlier, they've been competitive. They've been a solid team this year. I think they're being really overlooked by the books in this game. I don't know why they're a 22.5 point dog. They're 3-1 against ranked teams that they've played this year at the time. Oregon, they've been great lately. I'll give them all the credit in the world, but a team like Michigan State was able to hang within 3 touchdowns. So I think Illinois should be able to cover at the very least. And who knows, maybe if Oregon's smelling themselves after getting that first #1 ranking in over a decade, Illinois could swoop in there and get a shocking win. Who knows?
All right. See, real quick, survivor picks. We're just going to whip around real quick. Doug, what's your survivor pick this week?
I'll keep my eggs in the same basket. Detroit over the
Titans. Steven, what would your survivor pick be?
It would have to be Denver over Carolina.
Same. I really think Denver's going to throttle Carolina. I still think Bobby's under could hit, but I can see a 27-9 type game. Bobby, what would your survivor be?
I'm going to go with the Chargers over the Saints. Saints are battered with injuries, so the Chargers look pretty decent lately, except for that.
And if you haven't used them already, man, that Pittsburgh one's looking pretty good too.
Yeah.
The fact
is a good pick if you haven't used them too, I think.
Yeah, the only thing that scares me is it's on the road and it's a divisional game. That's it.
Divisional ones are always weird.
Yeah, that's the one that worries me. The Pittsburgh Giants game, so if you're sitting there looking at it, you're like, man, it's Monday Night Football, Prediction. By the end of the first quarter, Giants fans will be locked into the World Series. They're not going to be paying attention. They're going to, it's over. Forget it. Put it away. Let's go.
You might be getting a bit too much time.
Exactly. All right, let's go ahead and finish off with our, I believe one big thing is the only thing that we have left to do, right?
I think we got our locks.
Locks.
Oh, we haven't done the locks. I had it marked off. Okay, my bad. All right, so give me your lock, Steven, and your one big thing.
My lock is like I'm sticking with my last NFL pick, James Conner over 10.5 receiving yards. His last 3 games, he's gone 51, 22, and 14 receiving yards. I love the upside there, and it's just such a low number. And one big thing, I think we're gonna. I think it's. I don't even know. It's just there's so many things to pick from. Let me go. Alabama comes back with a vengeance, and they win by 30 points today.
Oh wow! All right. By the way, how would you like to be Missouri 6-1, number 21 in the country, and you're a 15.5-point underdog? I thought someone would end up taking that as their stupid underdog, but
they're just too
their
banged
quarterbacks.
Man, they really struggled against Auburn to come back from behind. That's the part that if you'd asked me in the summer, I'd been all about it. But Missouri, though they're 6-1, they haven't been as impressive as you would like. Doug, what's your lock and your one big thing?
My lock is take Utah. Houston's like the worst college football team in the world, so take Utah over. And my one big thing is with the Raiders game. It's 3.5. And with the Raiders game, one big thing: if the Raiders fall apart this week,
did anybody catch that? What's the line?
5.
3.5. Minus 3.5.
Is it 5, Steven?
5 now?
I was on DraftKings. Let me look at the ESPN. It is 4 on ESPN.
Okay, up to 4.
All right, minus 4 Utah. And what's your one big thing?
One big thing is if the Raiders fall apart this weekend, if it turns into a disaster, look for that head coach to be replaced within the next week or so.
I'd be shocked, but crazy.
Well, the only reason I say that,
one of the beauties of hiring someone like him, where you didn't spend much money, is you can fire him really quick. Bobby, what is your lock and your one big thing?
My lock, I'm going to go with Packers minus 4 versus the Jaguars. I think they're just a much better team right now, and they're in a much better place. I think this is a good matchup for the Packers too. And Doug Peterson, he's on his last leg as a head coach. I think this might be the one that sends him toppling over. Give me the Packers minus 4 as my lock. And then my one big thing, some of these betting lines in college football this weekend, they seem pretty disrespectful, with Illinois being a 22.5-point dog, Vandy being a 17.5-point dog. These are solid competitive teams. And I know they're playing some of the top dogs in college football this year, but I don't see any reason why these two shouldn't cover. I'm going to be all over that. I think you guys should be too.
My lock, I'll tell you what, I didn't want to double down on this. So I'm going to go ahead and change my lock. I was originally going to go BYU plus 2.5. I really like that, but I kind of hate doubling down. You take your pick, you take your lock, and if they lose, then you get double banged on the number. Yeah. So give me Penn State, Wisconsin under 24.5 total for the first half. Under 24.5 for the first half. I just feel like that's going to be a lower scoring, punchers. It's going to feel like a boxing match early. And I think there's probably a very good chance. I think 9.5, or is it 7.5? Whatever it is, first quarter. I like that one a lot too. I just feel like this is going to be a lower scoring game that could get up into the 40s by the end of the game. But other than that, and my one big thing, actually two big things. A, Doug, change your Wi-Fi provider. B, the big one, we get 5, maybe even 6. 5, maybe even 6 top 25 teams lose today. I think this feels like the day when you don't have a lot of marquee matchups where you start seeing tumbles. And nowadays you need much bigger upsets to rock someone out of the playoffs. But when you've got, just rattling off the teams that are in action in the top 25: Ohio State, Notre Dame, Navy, Indiana, Ole Miss, Illinois, Oregon, BYU, Bama, Missouri, Texas, Vanderbilt, Miami, Penn State on the road, by the way, LSU, A&M, someone's got to lose that one. And then SMU is at Duke. We get 5, maybe even 6 top 25 teams to spit the bit and change the entire landscape of college football. All right, guys, great job. We'll see you next week, and happy betting. Good luck to everybody, especially those of y'all that take Florida State on the money line. Boo!
We are live in Tallahassee, the capital of the great state of Florida.
Hyperbole is done. Now we can finally play the game.
There's no law against scalping tickets in this part of the country, and premium prices have been paid.
It is the third Saturday in October, and the show is on one more time in Knoxville, Tennessee.
All right, here we go. 56-yarder. Does not have the leg. And Chris Davis takes it in the back of the end zone. He'll run it out to the 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 45. There goes Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn's going to win the football game.
They're still in deep trouble in midfield. They tackle him. The ball is still loose as they get it to Rogers. They give it back now to the 30. They're down to the 20. Oh, the band is out on the field. He's going to go into the end zone. He's going to the end zone. But the bands are out on the field. There were flags all over the place. The most amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending, exciting, thrilling finish in the history of college football. California.
In trouble in the backfield, wants to throw now, and he's going to go deep. And I mean deep, and I mean touchdown, Florida! Tyree Cleveland in a miracle finish. A Hail Mary that's full of grace for the Gators.
It's a 31-30 game, and what does Nebraska do?
I have not seen the kicker come on the field, and I don't think he's coming on the field. Tom Osborne made this decision a long time ago. He's decided to go for 2 and take his shot and win, and I commend him for it.
This is for the national championship for Nebraska. Incomplete.
Here come the Seminoles of Florida State. One of the great traditions in college football. And Chief Osceola ready to get it started. College football. A matchup from the state of Florida.
Moody flushed, throws it down. Caught by Boston College. I don't believe it.
Buck back, third down on the 8. In trouble. Got a block behind him. Gonna throw on a run, complete to the 25, to the 30. Lindsey's got 35, 40. Lindsey's got 45, 50, 45, 40. Run, Lindsey, 25, 20, 50, 10, 5. Lindsey stop. Lindsey stop. Lindsey stop. Well, I can't believe it. 92 yards, and Lindsey really got in a foot race. I broke my chair. I came right through a chair, a metal steel chair with about a 5-inch cushion. I broke it. The booth came apart. The stadium fell down. Now they do have to renovate this thing. They'll have to rebuild it now. I didn't mean to beg Lindsey to run, but I had to. You know, this game has always been called the world's greatest cocktail party. Do you know what is going to happen here tonight and up at St. Simon's and Jekyll Island and all those places? Man, is there going to be some property destroyed tonight.